And welcome back to Talking with Doyle with State Representative Doyle Heffley. We're always joined by the indomitable Hunter Kipe and Chuck Nichols on the ones and twos. Representative Heffley, I understand we're talking about energy today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some legislation that was run through the House yesterday by the gerrymandered Democratic majority in the State House, and or they would like to call it the humble majority. I like to call it the gerrymandered majority. And basically what this legislation will do is it's going to drive up even higher your energy costs and use federal dollars to do it.
The legislation would create the framework for Pennsylvania to do big things. We can jumpstart energy production, create good jobs, secure energy independence, and also bring back federal money. But when I think of like infrastructure, I think of roads, I think of potholes, I think of bridges. Does this do anything that would help that?
Yeah, and I think when most people in Pennsylvania think about infrastructure, they're going to think about roads and bridges and infrastructure. The other thing to think about is your drainage systems, your stormwater drainage in many of your small towns and even in the big cities, which need to continually be upgraded. So it is kind of a play on words. So they're going to use these federal dollars. But this legislation takes it another step and is really going to socialize energy production. Pennsylvania is one of the leading producers in electricity. We export electricity. It's one of the things that we sell to other states, and we bring that capital back in. We make it here, we sell it there, just like if you were exporting any other commodity. We also are one of the leading producers in natural gas, but yet they have really stymied natural gas production. They're shutting down our baseload power facilities, and then they say this is going to somehow create jobs. We're losing thousands of jobs and revenue across the state for them blocking this. And what they want to do now is they want to give PETA, the Pennsylvania Economic Development Authority, the authority to take these federal dollars and purchase or build their own energy producing facilities. So think about it this way. The federal government borrows money from China because we deficit spend. Now we take that money and they're going to give it to Pennsylvania so Pennsylvania can create an authority run by the government, right, like PennDOT, like DEP, like all these other state agencies, like unemployment. They still haven't figured out how to get unemployment to people that get laid off. But now we're going to give them money, and what they're going to do is they're going to take that money and they're going to go to China with the money that the federal government borrowed from them, and we're going to buy solar panels that are made in China, and we're going to clear cut hundreds of acres of forest throughout the Commonwealth.
Do we even have that? Or where would that even go? The rural counties of Pennsylvania? Or
I'm sure they're not going to be putting solar farms in the city of Philadelphia or in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
They're going to be taking land and acquiring land with these federal dollars, buying solar panels made in China, and putting them all over in the fields throughout rural PA to generate what they think is going to generate enough electricity. But it's not going to prepare Pennsylvania for the future because it's not going to provide the base load of power that we need. When the sun's shining, solar may or may not produce. If you have a storm, those panels could get damaged with a hailstorm or lightning or heavy winds. And wind and solar, while they can produce electricity, they take up a huge footprint of acreage to produce that electricity, and they don't produce a base load unless you have we're talking massive battery fields. People think there's a lot of warehousing going on right now in the state of Pennsylvania. Wait till they see what is coming with these huge batteries, fields that are going to be needed to provide that base load. And that's what they're taking these federal dollars and doing instead of, investing in our private sector to create energy. We already do it. We're the leading producer. We know how to produce the cleanest energy here in Pennsylvania, right? Natural gas-fired energy. We use waste coal to produce energy. All these things that we can do as we move to, they want electric cars. Well, guess what? You got to plug them in and charge them up. And a wind turbine or a solar panel is not going to get the energy you need to drive that electric car.
How will this affect the taxpayers?
Well, basically what it's going to do is the federal taxes are going to have to pay back that debt.
Yeah.
And the taxpayers are going to see increased rates on their electricity. Already, 1 in 6 households in the state of Pennsylvania is behind on their utility bills because of Joe Biden's failed policy. We want energy independence. We had it. We can be energy independent in the state of Pennsylvania. We have enough natural gas and other resources to provide clean, efficient energy. Plus, the private sector has come up with ways to burn what years ago was waste coal. Now we can burn and produce electricity and clean up the environment. But yet, the governors Reggie proposal would pretty much put all those businesses out of business, no more producing that baseload, but also losing hundreds of jobs in a tax base in a rural county like Carbon County.
Yeah, don't we have a waste coal facility in Carbon County?
Yes, we have a waste coal facility that burns waste coal and actually uses part of that to do a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining, which is really great. I mean, if you think about it, blockchain technology is the way of the future for secure online transactions. We all know about the scams and everybody getting hacked. This blockchain technology is going to take over to provide secure transactions on the internet. It is very energy intensive. China is building these facilities like crazy. Little Carbon County, we're competing with that, right?
Yeah.
And we're cleaning up the environment at the same time. But we need to embrace that and look what's coming down the road and not be, chasing this progressive idea of that everybody's going to have a solar panel on and produce all the electricity and fill those needs. It's not practical. Maybe someday we can get there, but right now the technology isn't there. And taking hundreds of billions of federal dollars and wasting it on that pipe dream instead of actually fixing the needs of the infrastructure in our communities. Think about the fact that our federal government is $34 trillion in debt, right? That's scary. And that our state agencies sometimes have debt as well. We're trying to balance that budget, but taking these dollars and not using them to fix the things in our community that we need, but instead using them to build solar parks.
And we're getting the loan from China anyway, so we're getting the loan from China, and then we're buying the solar panels from China anyway.
Yeah, and it's not creating jobs. I talked to the trades, the pipe fitters, and they go into these power plants and they work in there. So those are Pennsylvania jobs. That's Pennsylvania pipelines, energy production that creates great Pennsylvania jobs and produces our revenues so we can fund all the other things that we need in our Commonwealth.